Hey everyone, I finished watching the next Street Sharks episode, A Shark Among Us. Let's see, I used to watch this episode a lot. Not because it was good, but because it's a really interesting episode, a lot of the choices that went into making this. It's one of the ones where I really wish the DVD had like commentary tracks so we could know something about what the writers and people involved were thinking when they were making it, because there's a lot of really weird stuff in here. The animation stands out in this one, not in a good way. The animation here is probably the ugliest that Street Sharks has had ever. The characters, like, they stay on model, like, most of the time. They're drawn consistently, but, I don't know, there's just something really bad that something just doesn't look right in the episode. Uh, the sharks have, like, bags under their eyes. Lena has a brother, Malik, that we meet, and his head, like, constantly, like, it never looks like it's the right shape. It's, like, I don't even know, it's so weird. Oh, and then there's, like, a fight scene with some weird stuff. I'll talk about that when I get to it. Anyway, the episode begins with there's these two hoodlums, very weird looking hoodlums, although, like, I think it was intentional that they look a little weird, and I'll explain that in a minute, but when I was first watching this, I didn't really catch it because the rest of the animation in this is so odd and it doesn't fit in with the rest of the series. So I didn't really catch oh, they were supposed to look a certain way, and I just chalked it up to it's the awkward animation. Anyway, there's these two guys with disproportionately big, muscly bodies, and they come to this big metal box, which I thought was supposed to be an ATM machine. They're shaking it, they pop like part of the side off, and a bunch of money falls out. So I was like, oh, okay, so it is an ATM? But then there's also magazines and like paper that comes out of it. So what is it? What is this thing? What is this weird metal box full of goodies? Oh. Anyway, oh, and there's a funny thing with the animation here. After the stuff falls out, the two guys who knocked it over look at each other, and the one guy goes. It's just such a bizarre, funny bit of animation. All right, I don't even know what to say there. So whatever. Anyway, they're picking up the money, and just then some of the sharks come by, and they're trying to get the money back from them. Ripster chases one of them to this old building, and there's all these people. There's some people sitting around a fire, and the immediate implication there is that this is like homeless people. But then, upon a closer inspection, you see they're all like those kids at the beginning. They have disproportionately huge muscle bodies, and yeah, Ripster's like, huh, this is weird. And then I guess he just leaves, so whatever. Oh yeah, anyway, let's see. The one guy drops. Oh yeah, now I remember. The guy drops this bag of stuff, these blue pills. Ripster sees that, but again, he doesn't really do anything about it. So then, I don't know if it's later or the next day. I think, yeah, I think it's like right the next day or something. Lena drops her brother Malik, younger brother Malik, off at high school. Let's see. Then a few months pass. She comes back to pick him up, and he's gotten huge muscles. And she's like, "Whoa, what happened?" And he's like, "I've been taking my vitamins." So then she's at Shark HQ, Shark Central, whatever they're calling it. I don't think they've actually said the name of the Sharks base for a while now. Anyway, let's see. She's talking to Ripster, and she tells Ripster about the weird thing that happened to her brother, and she asks Ripster to check on him. So then Ripster goes to where Malik and his buddies. Oh yeah, that's Lena's brother's name, Malik. He goes to where his buddies are hanging out. They see Ripster. They all turn and run. And Ripster's like, huh, that's weird. So then he goes back to the base, and he puts on. Oh yeah, he puts boots on. It looks like over his shoes. Don't know how that works. Then he puts on a jacket, and he puts on sunglasses. And I wasn't sure, like, well, is this supposed to be a disguise? Because, like, people know he's a shark, I really don't get it. Like, I know, like, in the real world, what the reason is. The reason is because, uh, crap, whoever made the Street Sharks toys, they had a toy of Ripster with sunglasses, boots, and like a brown jacket, and this was to promote that. But removed from that, in the context of the episode itself, why is he wearing all that? Is there any reason? I don't know. Whatever. So, back to the story. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Uh, Lena's at her office, or wherever it is she is. Malik comes in to swipe some money out of her coat, but he gets caught. And, let's see. He tells Lena, I need money for vitamins, and Lena asks to see the vitamins, so he gives her the blue pills that the one guy had earlier. And, let's see, he calls them super blues. She tells him she's going to analyze it. So then, oh yeah, the next day, Lena comes back to, oh yeah, she went to the Shark HQ, and Ripster said he recognized them. And then the next day, she goes back to Malik, and she tells him that they're potentially fatal, that every time he takes one, they could cause a heart attack. And he's like, what, really? But everyone's taken them. Then everyone's in danger. And this is something I really like in this, because, yeah, it's a don't do drugs kids episode, but it actually goes a step further by actually showing the drugs and saying, like, what a consequence is, that they're basically, I guess they're kind of like, they're supposed to be kind of like steroids or something. That's kind of the implication of what they're going with, that they give you big muscles. Um, let's see. Her telling her brother that they could potentially cause a heart attack already goes a lot farther than most other don't do drugs episodes, where drugs are treated as just kind of a nebulous concept that, like, don't do drugs, but they don't actually show the drugs. They don't show any kind of side effects of them, good or bad. They don't really explain why anybody would want to take them. Basically, the argument ends in most cartoons for little kids, don't do drugs because they're bad, and that's where the argument ends. Something like in Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue, they don't really make it clear what exactly the negative of doing the drugs would be. Like, it's gonna turn the kid ugly. And that's like the major thing that they push is, oh, they'll ruin your life, they'll make you look like Crypt Keeper. Here, like, again, they don't actually show any negative consequences. We don't see any kids drop dead or anything, or even suffer, like, minor complications. Uh, but we do hear Lena say that they are potentially fatal, and so I gotta give it respect for that. That goes farther than other cartoons did. So anyway, back to, let's see. Ripster is in his disguise. He's wearing a microphone. He goes into this seedy pool hall. He buys some super blues from this dealer there. Yeah, this is a kid's cartoon where one of the heroes buys drugs from a drug dealer. Street Sharks was crazy. So anyway, oh yeah, he signals his brothers to come in, and they stage a big mock fight to make it look like Ripster's turned against them. And, I say mock fight, but they are actually fighting. And here's where one of the weird animation things happens. Ripster gets thrown into things, his brothers get thrown into things, and the things that they get thrown into are big, like, metal boxes like that ATM whatever it was at the beginning. And the weirdest thing is, as soon as they make contact with it, it crumbles apart, like just immediately obliterate it upon bumping it. And it happens so many times, I noticed that it's such a weird thing. Oh, and also, I just realized it's been quite a few episodes and we haven't had a car chase. There's not one in this episode, however, there is a car with a weird thing associated with it. I'll get to that when I get to it. So anyway, the fight goes on for a while, and it is really well animated, aside from the weird crumbling things that they get smashed into. Oh, and there's a warehouse that his brothers chase him into, and the size of it just, it shrinks, it grows, there's stuff in it, there isn't stuff in it. It's really not consistent, and it's weird because it's just backgrounds. So I'm wondering, were they just reusing backgrounds they already had from past episodes? Or were these recycled from other cartoons, maybe? Whatever. So then, uh, the other sharks leave. They leave Ripster behind. The dealer believes this. He goes to Ripster and offers him. He takes him to meet with Jackal, the big boss, the guy in charge of the Super Blue distribution. And Jackal offers Ripster to join his organization after an initiation. Organization initiation. That's fun to say. Anyway, Jackal sends Ripster out to shake down people for money. And he does. He threatens one of the random kids who's been taking Super Blues earlier. So yeah, the hero of the show, like the de facto leader, buys drugs, beats up his friends, and shakes down a kid for money. Alright. But then, anyway, he gets the money, and Jackal says, yeah, the real initiation is later. And then, let's see, he orders Ripster to break into this bank near the high school, but not steal anything. Break into it, and that'll tempt the nearby kids to loot it and pay for the Super Blues. That seems like an unnecessary step. If he's gonna have Ripster break into the bank to steal, or to just leave it open for the kids to go in and loot it, like, I don't know, it seems like, couldn't Ripster just carry the whole safe? He's a shark. He's a mutant shark. He has super strength. And also, you wouldn't have to deal with just distributing the Super Blues. You could keep them for yourself, sell them later. Like, the kids are gonna get money one way or the other, probably. And in the meantime, you have all the money yourself. I don't know, the plan doesn't really make a whole lot of sense anyway. After he explains the plan to Ripster, he talks on the phone with somebody that I think comes back into play later, but it's not really clear. Anyway, he forces Ripster to stay at the pool hall overnight, with a guard standing there to make sure Ripster doesn't leave. So Ripster waits for the guy to doze off, then he dives into the ground and sneaks out, but then he comes back immediately, and, let's see. Da-da-da-da. Next day, he breaks into the bank, and then Paradigm drives up in a limo. I don't know who's driving the limo. He's in the back, and he rolls down the window, he looks out, and he goes, "Good, I have Ripster right where I want him." And then Ripster doesn't come back out of the bank, and then Jackal starts to get suspicious, so he goes over to see what's going on, and then the sharks all ambush him and attack his bodyguards, and Paradigm's in the limo going, "The sharks have double-crossed me!" Then he rolls up the window and drives away, and that's his only scene in the show. It's really irrelevant. When I was a kid, I never really understood why Paradigm shows up just out of nowhere here, but now I realized, okay, I think what they were going for was when Jackal's on the phone, he's supposed to be talking with Paradigm. They just don't really make it very clear. But the problem is, I don't know why Paradigm needed to be part of this plan at all. Actually, if they had explained it a little more and worked in, like, Paradigm's motivations, the plan about breaking into the bank to motivate the nearby kids to steal the money, it would make more sense, because if Paradigm was the one making the Super Blues, then he would want the kids to take the Super Blues. He wouldn't care about having the money. All he would care about is being able to, like, I don't know, potentially mutate the kids with the Super Blues. But that's not what the Super Blues do. They don't mutate people, they just give them big muscles and will potentially kill them. Which isn't what Paradigm wants to do. Paradigm wants to mutate people, not kill people. So I don't really know what exactly connection he would have to Jackal in this plan. Is he providing the Super Blues? Why? And if, like, he is, then why isn't he injecting them with DNA or anything? Well, I don't know, whatever. So, yeah, anyway, let's see. Oh, yeah, there's a weird thing when the sharks are fighting with Jackal's bodyguards. Jab picks up a bunch of them and juggles them. Alright, sure. Whatever. So then, Oh yeah, there is a really nice thing I like here. Um, where is it in my notes? Oh yeah, Ripster grabs Jackal and he asks to know where he's keeping all the stash of the supply of super blues, and Jackal says, "Yeah, I knew it. You want to take over my criminal empire yourself." That's a nice touch that the first thing that comes to Jackal's mind isn't that Ripster was working undercover, but that Ripster is actually corrupt and wants to take over his empire and become like the big boss and sell the super blues himself. It just shows like how Jackal's mind works, why he's a bad guy. He can't comprehend altruism. He can only comprehend selfishness. And I thought that was a nice touch for the character. He's not that interesting of a character. He's a pretty generic, like, I'm a bad guy type of bad guy. He's got like a scar over one eye. He's got like the slicked back blonde hair. He's got a stern face. He's got the suit. He sells drugs. Not a good guy. So then, oh yeah, Malik is seeing all this. All the kids are out there. They all see this big fight going on. And there's this one kid who, yeah, can't read the room at all. He like taps Malik and he holds up a bag of super blues. Hey, man. And Malik like smacks out of his hand. No way, dude. Those will fry your brain. Wait, I thought they gave you heart attacks randomly. Now they fry your brain? What do they do? Like, I get it. Like, yeah, they're dangerous, but fry your brain is more something that was said about like marijuana, not, you know, pills full of whatever it is they're full of. Anyway, police show up, they arrest Jackal and some of his bodyguards, and then later on the Sharks, they're going to Humongo Burger for burgers with Benz and Lena. Then they see Malik passing by with a girlfriend. Malik has a girlfriend now, and he's back to normal. His body's gone back to normal, and he's happy and blah blah blah. Happy ending. Um, it's an okay episode. Let's see. Like I said before, I like that it doesn't pull too many punches relatively to other cartoons that really pushed a don't do drugs thing. The animation in the fight scene was good. In a lot of the other parts of the episode, the thing that was most distracting was at the beginning before Ripster puts the sunglasses on. He has these like really thick black bags over his eyes or under his eyes, all around his eyes, really. And I'm wondering maybe that's why they gave him the sunglasses. So then, so yeah, Paradigm's appearance was completely pointless. Uh, looking through my notes. Yeah, not really anything else to say about it. I really like this one. It's a good one. I really like that they expand a little bit on Lena's character. She has a younger brother. We don't get to see too much of her at this in this episode, or I don't think much more in as the series progresses, which is too bad. I really liked her in the early episodes, and I think she would have been a really cool, like, consistent ally for them. Oh, and this episode's also interesting because no Seviots appear. Paradigm has that one scene, and other than that, there's like none of the usual crew of villains. We have this new guy, Jackal. Is he one of the first of like the villains outside of Paradigm now? Huh. I don't remember. Maybe we had another one. Oh yeah, there was the Dictator of Chernozem, but I don't know if I'd count him because he only shows up that one time. But anyway, that's all for this one. This was a good episode. See ya.